We have already finished discussing the respiratory system, the phonatory system, and certain organs of the articulatory system. We have already discussed the lips, the upper teeth, the teeth ridge, and the roof of the mouth that consists of the hard palate and the soft palate. Now when we come to the lower half of the oral cavity, of course the first one is the lower lip. Behind that you have the lower teeth, and then we come to the most important articulatory organ, that is the tongue. In normal parlance, when we hear people talking a lot, we say that their tongue is very energetic. Okay, so the tongue is the one that is most associated with speech. Now let's take a look at the different parts of the tongue. The tongue may be divided into certain parts. Even though when we look at the tongue, there is no physical division, for the sake of scientific description of sounds, we have divided the tongue into certain portions. I'll explain that. The extreme tip of the tongue is called the tip itself. That is the extreme tip of the tongue with which we often touch the teeth ridge or the teeth while speaking. It is called the tip. Immediately behind the tip, there is a portion called the blade. So what is the blade? The blade of the tongue may be defined as that part of the tongue that lies opposite to the teeth ridge when the tongue is in a position of rest. So once again, the blade of the tongue is that part of the tongue which lies opposite to the teeth ridge when the tongue is in a position of rest. The tip of the tongue and the blade are together called the apex, A-P-E-X, apex of the tongue. Coming to the next part of the tongue, immediately after the blade lies the front of the tongue. Okay, so you must not be confused. The extreme tip of the tongue is called the tip itself. Immediately behind that lies the blade, and after the blade, okay, after the blade lies the front of the tongue. And what is the front of the tongue? The front of the tongue is that part of the tongue which falls opposite to the hard palate when the tongue is in a position of rest. I hope you understand. The part of the tongue that falls opposite to the hard palate when the tongue is in a position of rest. So you can see the parts labeled if you look at the diagram: the tip, the blade, the front. Then after the front of the tongue comes the back of the tongue. The back of the tongue is that part which lies opposite to the soft palate when the tongue is in a position of rest. So we are moving backwards from the tip of the tongue, the tip, blade, front, and the back. So these are the different parts of the tongue. So when you are giving examples for active articulators in your exam, you can safely write the tongue and the lower lip. And when you are giving examples for passive articulators, you can write the teeth ridge, the hard palate, and the upper lip. These are the passive articulators. The tongue and the lower lip are the active articulators.